Alright, guys. Alright. Galen here. Today I want to talk about who should buy a Chinese motorcycle. There's a lot of different ones available in the States now, and not this one. This is a China and developing country exclusive model, I suppose. But they're talking about the Cyclone RX3. It's a 250cc adventure bike. Looks pretty cool, but anyways, I'll keep it simple. Who should buy a Chinese motorcycle? And first of all, I think someone that lives in China really should buy one, because there's a couple reasons for that. The parts are everywhere. For this model, any mechanic, any motorcycle shop has pretty much all the parts available, and they're not hard to find, and they're very cheap in China, of course. That's probably one good reason. So if you have a breakdown or need parts, it's not really a big deal, because there's plenty of parts available. The other reason to buy a motorcycle made in China, if you live in China, is that well, at least in Beijing, it's hard to get a good used motorcycle and have it be legal. Like, there is a used motorcycle market, but it's not easy to get a bike registered for the street and be legal. It's just easier to buy a motorcycle from a Chinese dealership and have them take care of everything for you. So that's what I did. That's why I bought this motorcycle. They handle the plate and the registration and the insurance and everything, so all I have to do is show up and ride it away. Now, if I bought a used one, it's a little bit of like a gray area whether or not I would be able to get it legally registered. I've heard there are agents that can handle that for you, but anyway, so if you're in China and you buy a Chinese motorcycle, at least in Beijing, or if you buy any motorcycle, it's just easier to buy a new one, and they're not that expensive. This one was a 7,000 Kuai, so that's about a little more than $1,000, like maybe $1,300 out the door. So yeah, so parts are no problem. And then the other big thing, like everyone talks about, well, are Chinese motorcycles reliable? Well, they aren't. Not compared to the Japanese the Japanese motorcycle. What am I trying to say? My mind is a piece of shit today. So no, they're not as reliable as a Japanese bike. They're not built as well, but they're not terrible. So if I do have a major problem, like most of the maintenance I can do myself, I'll change the oil and do the brakes and that kind of thing. But if I have some kind of a major problem, then I can take it to the shop and have them fix it. And to have a shop fix it, labor is just way cheaper in China. So to have a shop like rebuild the engine, like if I blew a piston up or something like that, it might cost me, $50 in labor or something like that. Whereas if I blew up a piston in the States, I don't know, to rebuild a small engine, to pay a mechanic to do it, what are at least like $500 or $600. So it's like 12, 15, I don't know, 10 times as expensive to have work done in the States. So in China, it's no big deal. Like the reliability, if I blow the motor up, no problem. I can just go have it fixed, for as much as it costs to buy lunch in like Seattle. So no big deal there. Now, if I lived in the States, let's say you live in the States, who should buy a Chinese motorcycle if they live in the States? Well, I probably wouldn't buy a Chinese motorcycle if I lived in the States, because we have you can get a good used motorcycle that's going to be way more reliable and just built better and way better for about the same price, or maybe even cheaper. So like the RX-3, for example, the RX-3 is what, $3,000 in the States when it comes out. You know, for that you can get a pretty good, like, you can get like a KLR 650 or something like that if you want an adventure bike. So, you know, I would go with that option. And if you, so that's just me personally, but let's say you already have a motorcycle, that might be a good idea. Then if you live in the States, you could get a Chinese motorcycle if it's your second motorcycle, and then just hope nothing goes horribly wrong with it. And if it does, maybe if you're kind of a shade tree mechanic, you could possibly fix it. Now, I don't know what kind of parts are available in the States for Chinese motorcycles, but I assume you can still get parts. So, yeah, if it's your second bike and you live in the States, buy a Chinese motorcycle if you want one, because they're cheap. And that RX-3 actually looks fairly attractive, like a fully dressed adventure bike for $3 grand, brand new. I mean, I might go for that. So it's kind of small, but this is even smaller. But as you can see, you know, in Beijing, there's not really any need to get anything bigger than a 150, just because, you know, in the city traffic here, it's not exactly, well, you don't need to go much faster than this. What am I doing, 70 kilometers an hour? I don't know. Right now I'm on my way to the bike shop because I want to pick up some liantiao yo, some chain oil. I looked up the word on the internet because I don't know all the names of motorcycle parts in Chinese. So liantiao, I guess liantiao is a chain, like bicycle chain or motorcycle chain, and yo, that's oil. Yo is oil. So we'll try it. I just go there and say that word, and they should hook me up with some chain lubricant of some kind. I don't know.